I'm on the wrong
Pylet, how are you?
podcast.
Hello.
That's good, dude.
Doing all right.
I will send you afterwards when I do shorts and I put the VOD out. I'll send you the YouTube partner, not the partner link, the collaborator
The
link.
collab, yeah. Okay. Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
All right, boom. We are live, by the way, Pylet. Obviously.
Yeah, I saw. It does at least say that when you join if it's already live.
Oh, does it really?
It does. It says live recording, so you know that you're jumping in.
And Twitch isn't good about having two accounts. You have to log out of one, log in the other, re-authenticate. Red. So on moderator. Sorry, I was.
There we go.
Normally, I try to get upset a little ahead of time, but I was at the very. I just rewatched Buffy season 7, and I was at the very end, and I'm like, we might be able to get there. And then it was like commercials and stuff like that.
I'll be right back.
Right at the end.
I get around the multiple account thing for Twitch because signing out and signing back in, doing all that. I just do different browsers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I have like my bot for like my chat or whatever is in Mozilla. I use Chrome for my main, and then I use Internet Explorer for the World of Warshack. And then
Nice.
I just keep them all separated so I don't have to log in and out. That's so got tired of that.
That's somewhat better.
Yeah, I think we're good. Are you guys ready to talk a little Hearthstone?
Yeah, if you can give me like 30 seconds though.
You can have 5 minutes if you need it. Hey, Pylet, you ready to do the intro today? Mix it up a little
Am
bit
I
today?
doing the intro today?
Yeah, you're gonna do the intro host stuff today.
Oh, well. Okay. You did not tell me this until right this moment.
I told you like earlier, like
No,
the week
you
or
said
something
we
that-
need to do that at some point. You did not
That's
say that
okay.
we were doing it this episode.
We're not gonna do it all the time, but every once in a while, I think we need to make sure you do it. That way, you ever actually host when I'm not here or something. You're
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get the height of my chair set to make my arm a little bit more comfortable.
that makes sense.
And also, then I had to shift this so I'm actually centered. This might be okay. Don't unplug.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll do the intro, guys.
Nice. Got it.
Right.
So I talked to World 8 today, and he said, "Can you send me an earlier episode?" So I was like, "Sure." So I sent him an episode of Dawn doing it, like episode 22, and then I'm like, "Oh, well, here, let's listen to episode 1." And oh my god, it's horrible. I don't know how we're still podcasting after that. That should have been like the end of podcasting.
Don't like this.
Oh,
My
you
camera angle's different because of this now.
Well, your Warshack, your camera angle's different too. Isn't that couch normally?
No,
This way?
it's been like this for as long as it's been like this forever.
I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it looks reversed here because I always thought that the Duder couch was on the.
It's on my right.
Oh yeah, but you just showed left. Okay, it looked left on mine, so it's definitely the thing doing something.
The Duder couch.
Yeah, that's what I think of it as.
His domain, right, buddy? You're about to go under it right now.
Right, I think we're good.
I don't see you live on Twitch.
We're on BreadAndButterHS.
Oh.
Oh, speaking of.
Yeah, Lana wanted me to split all the things up, and it kind of made sense anyway. So.
No, it does.
Cat, stay down.
Pain in the ass. I'm definitely so I started up my other I have another podcast, solo mic one that I just kind of rant on that I hadn't touched since Reno went away, but I picked that up because I'm using it to make YouTube content as well. And I'm like, yeah, no, we're not going to do a third thing for that. I mean, we're just going to put that under Tito. That's fine. Fuck that noise. Still trying to push towards. I was still trying to get to monetization by the end of the summer. Got a ways to go, but we're working on it.
Yeah, I think splitting everything up is smart. It's a hassle, but I think it's the correct move.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. But yeah, it is. It does. It then becomes like, am I going to put the work in for here? Am I going to put the whatever? Hey, Putis. We have awesome guests like Putis that show up all the time. All right. Are you guys ready to talk about Hearthstone and all this stuff? So I set up the mini set section. So I want to not. I mean, everyone's all doom and gloom, and I'm trying not to just focus on the doom and gloom. So I kind of like try to set up questions like are because I can get doomy and gloomy too, right? You know, you've seen me go off on rants. So I'm like, hey, are the new cards fun to play? Was it well designed? Does it feel well designed? Obviously, ignoring the power level, right? Do they feel fun? Do they feel things? If you are playing them, if you're losing to them, is it going to feel toxic? Is it going to feel like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you can lose games, and sometimes you can be like, fuck, I just lost a ticket again. Fuck that guy, even though it only happens 35% of the time. And what we need to change to make it playable, and we figured you're great for that stuff. All right, then if we're good, let me pull up the media. Let me put it live, and Pylet, you ready?
Yep.
Oh, I hit the wrong one. That's okay.
Welcome back to Bread and Butter, where we are serving up the basics for Hearthstone Improvement. This is episode 169. I am Pylet, joined as always by Tito. Tito, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and I don't think Doc ever got that right once, so I think you're already you're doing well there. But yeah, good weekend.
I can read the show notes. I've done it.
I'm doing well. How about yourself, my friend?
Doing well. And we are joined this week by Warshack. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing quite well. It's been a big week for Hearthstone. So glad to talk about it. Glad to be here. Hopefully everybody's having a good night.
Yeah. So what have you been doing inside Hearthstone?
Well, as we know, we had the new class sets. So definitely sunk my teeth into that. Explored pretty much everything there is with the new cards where they fit, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, did a lot of Hearthstone this week. I caught a fish today. it was I was helping my dad bring a toilet that got broke back to Home Depot, and then when we got back to his house, I saw my fishing rod in the corner. I was like, "Hey, Dad, do you want to go outside and fish with me?" He goes, "The hell no, I don't want to go outside. It's like 99 degrees here in Florida." I was like, no, just like 5 casts, and the second cast out there, I got like a 7.5 pound bass. It was very nice.
Nice.
That is amazing.
It felt really good. I haven't caught a fish in a long time. It was really exciting. I know it's very basic for some of you, and those of you who are listening who fish all the time, that's not very impressive. But as somebody who doesn't leave his house maybe once or twice a month, going outside and catching a meal, like what if I needed that fish? I could have had it. Like it's there. So I of course I put him back, but respectfully, of course. But yeah, it was a good feeling.
I used to fish all the time when I was a kid, and I hated taking the fish off the hooks, and I don't eat seafood. So it was but you know, we'd always put it back. I haven't fished in like 35 years, so I wouldn't even know how anymore. But I used to go out and on the canoe and, you know, go in the pond and fish for trout.
Yeah, it's fun.
Bass and all that. Yeah, I used to go by myself. I would go down to the water and I just fish for a while. And I'm like,
it's very relaxing.
I can't see you doing that anymore.
I was not a fisher at all. Tito, what have you been up to in Hearthstone?
Well, I got to, I don't know if I was legend last week by the time we get to here, but I got to an early legend playing Triple Unholy Death Knight. We've talked about, hey, I'm going to play good decks this month, mostly good decks. And then it becomes, hey, how do we define a good deck? Triple Unholy felt like a good deck. It's a tier 2. It's very underplayed. Is it the best thing you can do? No. But is it really strong and powerful and fun? I think so. So I did that. Since I hit legend, I've been trying to, I have a bad deck that I've made that I only use for the quests. Like I made a druid that obviously runs Jara's Triumph, but it also has it was some of the new cards and whatnot, and it was more focused about being a treant deck that just happened to have a little bit of a top end. And that's actually one more than it's lost, oddly enough, but I'm not staying with it. For the most part, I've decided that the very bottom of what is a good enough deck to play in this meta for me to not be a liar is Herald DK. So Double Blood and Holy DK, because that deck, I sent you an image pilot today, and that's a tier 3 deck, right? As far as I understand, it's a tier 3 deck. So I think that's fine, right? I on as far as HS, you know how the streamer decks you get the streamer decks on HS Guru, like if like you contribute your stuff, it says, hey, a streamer now is playing this deck and this is how they're doing with it. I have a 41-16 record with it on HS Guru. So
Wow.
good deck. Let's go. And we're gonna try to push our number up a little higher and or lower and do well with that. And also I played a bunch of Paladin's fine and some other things. So we're gonna play these decks, but this is my fun deck that's actually good. So Pylet can't say I'm lying, and that's fine. Pylet, what have you been doing inside?
It's a fine deck. It just falls. I'm interested to see what happens as you do climb, because we discuss this a lot. You're like, I'm winning. These decks are good. I'm like, you're like 2,000 away from the very bottom of the leaderboard. Like, I would hope so with the level that you're at, that these are working. To where Herald Death Knight, it's like solid tier 2 at like Diamond, and non-existent at like top 5K. So if top 1K, I think top 5, it's like a 45% win rate. It falls off hard.
If I start getting to top 1K, it's fine. But Warshack, just so you know, what we're talking about is last month I waffle between playing good decks and playing weird decks and having fun, and then worrying about my rank and then not worrying about my rank. Last month, I said screw it. I am playing this Corona Ashara DK that I made, and I had some good success with it, but it also wasn't that good. So we kind of killed our rank, and we were kind of, I'm pretty sure we came close to dropping back in a diamond from Legend. I don't think it's ever happened, but we were going to be the first ones to do it. And we had a lot of fun, and I said I'm sick with it, but I've kind of tanked my MMR, so now it's time to fix it. But so that's the best way to start winning, is if like you have a bad MMR, but you're not that bad of a player, you can start winning when you when you start playing good decks again. So that's what we did. But anyway, Pylet, go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot this week. Had a couple of busy nights with concerts and whatnot end of the year, and then for those of you watching stream, you might see I have a new accessory on my arm that has slowed down my gaming, just because it is a little uncomfortable to play when my right arm is not able to move much. So we'll talk about that later. So I haven't played a lot. I did play Tuesday night when I got home from our elementary concert. Played some ley lines, felt all right for 3 games, and then less all right for the next 5. I think most of my losses were Demon Hunter, which that deck is just so efficient. It's just going to punish anything that's trying to figure out what the 30 cards are supposed to be anyways. But they felt miserable. And then tried a little bit of the Animal Companion Hunter, grabbed the greediest list I could find because I wanted to do that the first day, and then be like, we'll see what happens with this, and then go from there. I'm like, if I can get away with this, then it's going to be good, and I could not get away with it. It was bad. So have a couple others to try for that. I know none of them were very optimized for the ley lines. I was trying the Fabled package. Feels all right when you can play both dragons for a total of 5 because you hit them off of the 2-cost ley line. Feels less good when you're staring at a hand that does nothing. So going to try a couple things with that, but haven't had a ton to play. I don't think I've played it all outside of that. Warshack, what have you been doing outside of the game, outside of fishing?
Outside of Hearthstone, honestly, it was just Hearthstone this week. I didn't really do much else. It's whenever there's like new stuff that comes out, it's always like a rush to play it, and obviously like post YouTube videos. You got to do me best deck videos. Got to get some shorts in there. So, and then also like whenever there's a new like influx of cards, like whatever content you have before that, like is outdated, right? So it's always like a very fine line of like making sure you always have enough content up until new stuff comes out, and then when new stuff comes out, you have not like nothing backed up, right? So then you got to do the whole catch back up thing. So like if I don't stream for a couple days, I still have videos every day, right? So it's always the busiest when new stuff comes out.
Tito, what about you?
I don't know if you all remember last year with the weather in New England in the spring, because I was complaining week after week that I couldn't do anything outside because it rained for like 16 straight weekends, where it's like we didn't get the garden done, we didn't get a bunch of stuff done because every time we tried to do something, it was like raining, and it was insane. And so far, we've started that again, but today was a little nicer. So even though, and it got nicer throughout the day, so we were able to get, at least we built a couple raised beds to start putting some dirt in. I have to get my my lawnmower fixed, or my riding mower fixed, so I can actually use it to attach a a trailer to, so I can haul dirt up. So otherwise, at 51 years old, I'm going to be filling up wheelbarrows, driving them up, emptying them, and doing that again. And that's probably not the thing to do in my second
Don't do
century,
that.
second half,
You'll
second half
end
century.
up looking like me if you do that. Don't do that.
He'll
I'm
end
gonna
up with
have
two
to, though,
casts.
probably. Yeah, I'll end up with two casts. So when I had to deal with my backyard's all messed up because my fault, because we were trying to find the septic system, and for like the longest time I couldn't feel like these two fingers, my pinky and the not the pointer, but the other one. They've been numb for like weeks, and I went to the doctor for something else. They're like, yeah, that'll eventually get better. You just probably pinched a nerve, and I'm finally starting to feel them again. So I'm probably going to not feel them again pretty soon. Outside of that, I've been playing Baldur's Gate on Friday nights with my friend Thornbill. The one that we used to do Civ with. We've kind of taken our break from that, and we switched over to Baldur's Gate. We've decided to play together, and only like play together. So like, not, I might play to catch up to the story with like a solo character, but we're not going to go past that. And it's kind of frustrating because, one, we're both trying to figure out the game at the same time. So it's like, if you figured out something and you're like, no, just do the thing, click the button, right? It gets frustrating. But at the same point too, it's like, you're playing a game like that, you're like, oh, I want to do this, but now we have to do this, make decisions together. But also, it's like, I want to go on. What's next? Like, you get to these games, you want to go on to the next thing. And now it's like, not only is it every Friday, he's off on his motorcycle for the next 2 weeks going. He does this thing where he goes to see like minor league ball games and stuff like that. So for the next 2 weeks, I get to play Hearthstone on Friday nights. But at the same point, I'm like, well, now I don't have to continue the story. How about yourself, Pylet? What have you been up to?
Yeah, so checked off 2 more end of the year performances. So 4 more left. We're getting there slowly but surely. And then we had our Relay for Life event at school this week, where to kill time the second half of it, especially because it was a little cold, so the water balloons and dunk tanks were not as much of a hit as what they were going to be, as you'd expect at the beginning of May. So they called down like siblings to do races, and then they started calling down staff. So they called down me and the choir director to do a sprint and race, and I am not as agile or as athletic as I used to be or thought that I was, and I wiped out. I think there's a bump on the track. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But I went down pretty hard on the track, sprained my wrist, scraped up my knee, and then somehow on the elbow that I didn't catch myself with, I must have hit it when I rolled over, and I have a hairline fracture in my elbow. So I have not been able to use my right arm much. It feels much better. Like they put me in a splint instead of a cast, with the direct wording being, if I did a cast as an adult, your arm wouldn't move for months. As another reminder that we're not as young as we used to be. So so it feels okay. I have a follow-up on Tuesday where their hope was that I'll be out of it full-time and just wearing it as needed to kind of protect it and keep myself from using it too much. But it's just kind of at the point where it's a little bit more annoying, especially when I did this on Wednesday and had a concert. Actually, I had contests with the junior high band on Friday that I conducted with the wrong hand. Because I had to figure out how to conduct with my left hand, and I put my scores on a tablet so I could tap the pages with my right hand. It was interesting. It was a lot of work. My left arm is very sore and tired because I don't know how to use it, but we're getting there. Outside of that, it was the pre-release weekend for Lorcana, Wilds Unknown, where they added Pixar. So this was a set I was super excited for this year because it added Toy Story and Incredibles. I haven't gotten through opening all of my boxes that I got yet, just because it's taking me forever. It's really hard to sort cards when you can only use one arm. I did played in one pre-release yesterday, did okay, got some okay pulls, nothing crazy. Opened one box today where I got an enchanted. It's sitting like 100, 150 right now. So excited with that. It seems like the pull rates are better for this set than they were last set. So we'll see what we can get. But really excited to start building some new decks there. There are a lot of fun new synergies I want to play with.
Was it weird, like for your guys to have to play the music backwards?
It was super weird because I couldn't cue anything the way that I wanted to. Not that this junior high band is very good at watching me anyways. As noted on our contest performance and as our judges pointed out of watch your director, we have some learning moments to go through tomorrow during class is what we're going to say. The performance did not go very well.
And you dropped the lead on that. What happened at the race? You fell, you got hurt, but
I did pop up and win the race. He did stop and turn back to make sure I was okay, which was his downfall. But I smoothly popped back up on my feet, and I don't think he was expecting me to catch up that quickly, but I did pass him at the end. And there's video evidence of it.
Tyler popped up. Tanya Harding hit him in the leg, ran.
So someone, I forget who it was. I saw someone in the hallway at school on Friday, and they said something that they were standing next to the choir director when they called us down to race, and they're just like, you got to push him over to win. It's just like, that's got to be your strategy. And then when I went down, they're like, oh no, he didn't actually push him over, did he? It's just like I'm responsible if he did. It's just like, no, I'm just an idiot.
Very, very nice. And actually, so I heard the Lorcana. About the Lorcana, I actually got a few of the. I got like a Will-O-the-Wisp, and I got a couple of the promo cards when I went to a card store this weekend. But also, I heard that that some people were opening boxes, and the boxes were like the exact same. Like they had a couple places where it was like they weren't randomized as much as they were supposed to be, or something like that.
Yeah, I heard some of that. My box was fine. But I did hear that there were some people, like there was someone I saw some posts where normally it's 6 commons, 3 uncommons, 2 rares or better, and then 1 foil slot. And I heard that there was someone who had a box that had 3 commons and 6 uncommons instead. And then some duplicate stuff. It's just some weird stuff. I had packs, my pre-release box. I think 3 of the packs, like 4 of the cards were randomly upside down. So I don't know what happened. There's some miscuts in this one. There's a lot of off-center cards. There's been some quality stuff here and there, but it happens.
Yep. All right. So do we have any news this week?
We do have a little bit of news. So on Tuesday we had 35.4 release, which we alluded to last week because we got the class sets release. We're going to talk more about those here in our main topic, the effect of those. We did get an arena update. We have dual class arena for the new season. So they ended all arena runs. You'll choose 2 classes and then draft cards from both to create your deck. So you will pick, I believe you always pick the hero power class first, if I remember right. But they did update the UI and the draft experience to kind of help with that, especially with the dual class, where it always shows you the name of both classes you have. And we have a fully curated card pool for this, handpicked with dual class play in mind. We have some new events going on. We have Forging the Dragon Soul going on for most of the month of May, from May 5th to the 26th. We have a longer event that includes a legendary card, Dragon Soul Shattered, as well as a Mage, Druid, Hunter, and Paladin pack, one of each of those, a Golden Cataclysm pack, a card pack, and a coin. The legendary card, because we did not know about this last week when we recorded, is a 6-mana neutral legendary spell. Start of game, break into 6 essences. Adjoined essences are cast together. So the essences are red, deal 8 damage to an enemy. Blue, draw 3 spells. Bronze, refresh 7 mana crystals. Black, gain 12 armor. Green, summon an 8/8 dragon. And Storm, deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. All of those are 6-cost spells. And all of them have the cast every adjoining aspect essence on it as well. It works similar to crewmates, so where any of them that are side by side in hand will be cast at the same time. So have either of you played or seen this card much? I have not, with how little I've played.
I've not seen it much. We did hear from somebody that the Urso. We heard from somebody in my chat that Urso will cast but the adjacent ones, not every turn, but that first turn it casts it, it will hit the adjacent ones. So that way, you know, it'll do that. But then for further on, it will only cast the one that it was supposed to cast, which is, you know, fine. But I don't even know if I've unlocked it yet. I might have. I haven't looked. I haven't checked. But how about yourself, Warshack? Seems like up your alley.
Yeah. So I actually played a lot with that card, and I figured it would fit best in the all spell Demon Hunter. It's an all spell deck anyway. It has a lot of draw. There's damage built in. There's mana built in. You know what I mean? I figured if anything, and some games it like did feel like okay. Like if you get like 2 or 3 adjoining, maybe 4, then like you could really pop off. I actually made a tweet about it, like going over like how to make it playable, because like at the moment, like it's just not playable. Like by no means is it good. But like if you get lucky, you get 4 of them, especially the mana one back makes sense, right? Because then you're just getting like free damage or free minion or free card draw or a free clear. But yeah, my tweet was pretty much just like the storm aspect, the one that does 3 damage to all enemy minions. Just say that to deal 3 damage to all enemies. I think that's fine. The 8/8 dragon, I don't know why it's an 8/8. If you want to keep it an 8/8, then give it taunt or rush, or I mean you can make it a 6/6 because the spell costs 6, and just give it taunt and rush, and then draw the 3 spells. Just have it say like reduce the spells that you draw by 1, because like 6 mana draw 3, like what are we talking about? And then the bronze aspect, the one that gives 7 mana, for it being a 6 mana spell and then it refreshing 7 is just so weird inherently. It just doesn't like, you could weave in a demon hunter hero power, sure, and you like get it back, but like we could just make it refresh 6, the cost that it has, and then we can maybe bump the draw spell 1 to like maybe discount 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So it just like playing with the card, you could like see it being good, and it can be good, but the effects as themselves aren't really strong enough to like, for 6 mana, like just giving up 6 cards in your deck or 7 or however many it is just too much. Like you're just adding, you know, what is that, a fourth of your deck to just like pointless cards that need to all be next to each other. So
well, it's not replacing things. It's just making your deck that much bigger, right?
Well, yeah. So instead of a
card
card that you would normally draw, you're replacing that card with some other card that's bad. You're just adding bad cards to your deck, which, yeah, replace is probably not the right word. But instead of drawing the good cards that you want in your deck, the 30 ones that you actually put in, you're drawing these like, you know, this extra stuff, and it's really not good. But I think it can be good. It needs to get buffed. Like like inherently the card's very cool, and I like the design, the cards being next to it, you know, them not being overwhelmingly powerful. Like I don't think you should get 3 of these things and then just win the game for 6 mana, right? But at the moment, the reason you haven't seen it played and you haven't heard anybody talk about it is because the card is actually unplayable. So
well, how do you guys feel about the whole concept that they've done? This is now like the 3rd or 4th time I think they've done this, where it's been a card that you can get in the event, and then when the event's over, you can't get it or craft it until the next time it comes around, and then the first time you open a pack, you get the card. It's kind of like and not that these events are hard. It's not like it's hard to complete the events, but if you were like, I'm not playing, I'm busy this week, and you miss the event or whatever like that, then you're like, oh, there's a card and now I can't play with it. Do you think this is okay, or do you think it's kind of maybe like a bad idea? Or
I mean, you could look at it 2 ways, right? Like, yeah, it feels bad because there was like, what was it, Sands of Time fell into this too, and Sands of Time is so vital to like Quest Mage, right? And it goes into a few other decks. So it depends the power level of the card and then like the length of time, but also the fact that like they want to get players playing Hearthstone, right? So incentivize them with a free legendary, and all you need to really do is play like I think I got it in like an hour and a half of playing. Like it really didn't take much to like because you have the like the normal version and then there's the golden version later. I think that takes a little bit more time, but yeah, I mean you have like 2 weeks, 3 weeks to do this or something. It's not like a couple days, right?
Right.
3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah, that's an insane amount of time to do like an hour's worth of work. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't think that's. While it feels bad to have to wait a little bit, you still get it in your first pack for free on the next expansion release, right? So, I mean, I don't think it's. I think it's an attempt to try to get players to log in and be part of events and new cards coming out, which I think is inherently a good thing, but also will also feel bad for those who don't get it. But I really don't mind it. But I'm super biased, right? I play every day.
What do you think, Pylet?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it before to where like I'm fine with it for these 3-4 week long events, especially because the card is on the very first step of the event rewards, which is 400 event experience, which is the same as what the first weekly is, or like completing 3 dailies for the event. Very, very simple to get over 3 weeks for the vast majority of players. If it was a week-long event, I'd have more of an issue with it, but I don't think that they've done that, except for there might have been one that they did that with, and I think that that was the one that people were up in arms about if they did. So, you know, I feel like they've alternated between these 3-week, 1-week events and kept the 1-week ones as very much kind of bonus stuff compared to potentially more, altering, game altering things with cards and whatnot on the longer events.
I mean, that's a good point too. Like you said, like they front loaded it. They didn't leave.
Yep.
You don't have to play 2 weeks to get it in a 3-week event, right? Like you can hop in at any time and you're gonna get it pretty quickly, whether you're logging in on the last day, the first day, the middle day. You know what I mean? It's not like this is gonna take days and days to grind. It's you just play the game and you'll get it. So yeah, it's a really good point.
And especially because for the events, the daily stack like BGs do. You get to just hoard dailies if you miss.
Oh, that's again just another good note. Yeah,
we wouldn't notice because we don't do it.
I have. I have this month.
Well, I mean, like me and Warshack, we play so much. In fact, I actually I had a, you know how some of your software for like your graphic card and for your keyboard and stuff like that keep track of the games you play. So on the laptop that I got, not my laptop that I use weekly right now, but my desktop that I bought off Just a Guy when I first started streaming like 3 or 4 years ago, whatever it was. Just on that computer, I have 5,000 hours of Hearthstone.
Jesus.
In like 3 years. And it's kind of like typing /played in Warcraft. Never do that. Never do that because it is depressing. It is very depressing. But yeah, so I just saw that this week. I was like, oh great, we played a lot. So we play a lot, we never see it. I think it's fine. I think that locking the golden behind completing the event is fine too, as long as you can get the card. If you are somebody that needs a golden deck to feel good about your experience, then you are probably playing a lot more Hearthstone and aren't going to miss that event. So
other news, following that, we have a 1-week event, speaking of Ruby Sanctum, which has 4 class packs, Druid, Hunter, Mage, Paladin, and a couple tavern tickets. That is a shorter event, May 26th to June 2nd. They had some updates on Darkmoon Faire free packs and what they're giving out through the month of May. They're continuing to do these free packs in the BattleNet shop, so remember to go specifically there to claim them. And then there were a notable amount of updates and bug fixes, enough to where they categorized and did a drop down for each of them. Constructed related notable fixes. Well, for all modes, your opponent has been fixed. So you get to see your opponent's names again. For constructed, ones of note, there are a lot of very niche scenarios, but of note, Rogue Imbue, after playing Deathwing, is now fixed. So previously, if you played Deathwing, the Deathwing hero, and then played an Imbue card as Rogue, you would get the Death Knight Imbue hero power instead of the Rogue imbue hero power. That is fixed, and you get to be a rogue again.
To add on to that, if you had the signature Deathwing, it worked right. So
interesting.
Yeah, so I had the signature one, and people were leaving comments because I was playing Imbue Shaman, and they're like, "This doesn't even work once you play Deathwing. It's just it goes to the Death Knight hero power, and it's so bad." But on my side, I was getting my normal Shaman Imbue hero power because I had signature Deathwing.
Huh.
Yeah, it was very weird.
It's always weird how like the way that the hero skins and stuff like that can somehow affect the cards. You would like think that they would be as a software developer, to me, it would just be completely separate entities on how they work.
Well,
But
you have to think of spaghetti. It's the spaghetti code. It's not supposed to do that, but we got meatballs, marinara. We don't even have the right linguine. What's going on?
And on Tuesdays is Prince Spaghetti Day. So
yeah.
So that is fixed. Speaking of Deathwing, some of the cards that relied on spells doing damage, such as like it referenced mage cards with Raincaller and Spellcaster's Brilliance, whatever the 10-cost spell is. When you played Deathwing, the raise ability would trigger those by mistake. So that is fixed. It's not counting that as a spell anymore. Overload is now showing correctly. There's a couple cases where overloaded mana crystals weren't showing. And also the Eternal Hold can now discover neutral demons. Apparently it was only discovering class demons before. I did not catch that. I had not seen that, but I saw that on the bug fixes, and that makes that card significantly worse probably.
Why do you think you got so many green rags? I mean,
well, I didn't.
I mean, everybody still gets Inquisitor versus me now. I don't know if they've actually changed in my matches. The bug, I think, is still in the game, to be honest. But
that's because you're playing Signature Deathwing, and if you're playing Signature Deathwing,
the way that bug fix doesn't go in. Yeah. It makes perfect sense. I mean, logically speaking, you're speaking the truth.
Yeah, I did see that because Tito and I talked the last patch where they did the couple of nerfs that we were. We kind of went on and on about, and it's just like, I'm surprised Demon Hunter dodged a nerf, and I'm like, well, maybe this is the nerf. Maybe the bug fix was the nerf. Probably not, but we'll
still
see.
So good. That gets so good. Like you mentioned it earlier. I mean, it just does what it's supposed to do. It does it very well. All the cards efficient. For the mana costs just are well and above power level. And then like Eternal Hold, I don't understand how it's still at 6 mana. Like at least make it 7 or something, but
or make it so the demons cost less 1. Can't instead of 0, make them cost 1 or something.
Yeah, just anything. Because after that first turn, it comes out. Because obviously they play it and then they spend their mana, so they just have the original demon. But after that, I mean, just the threat of always having to face an Inquisitor or like the dog that heals with 4 attack that can clear the board for 0 mana essentially. Because already just getting the demon discounted in the front end is already great. That's really good value. And then just the end 2 charges on the durability are just too much.
Yep. Other smaller things in news. There's a hot fix on the 7th. One of the things that came with the patch was there were high CPU temps on sound like it specifically PC and iOS. So there's a hot fix to deal with those, and they're continuing to monitor that. Some known issues of note. Treasure Hunter Eudora is banned in Arena because the side quest was not able to be completed, so they banned it so you didn't get a worthless card. Dragon Soul that we talked about, the event card, if you cast multiple at the same time because they're adjacent, it's not showing correctly in the history tiles. Upgrading animal companions past 10 causes one of them to become a card back, and then it goes to 1 on the next upgrade. They're working on that, so be cautious in making your animals too large.
That's such a wild thing to happen too, because all you had to do was play with the card. Like that bug isn't like super like hidden, right? Like you just needed to play with it. Like within like the first 5 games, chat was like, "Hey Rob, this card's bugged." I was like, "What are you guys talking about?" And then it happened to me like that game. I'm like, "Oh, my turtle's gone." So yeah, what a weird bug.
Yes. And then the new Druid legendary, Bashana Rune Totem, is sometimes giving 11 mana instead of 12 mana worth of spells on the treants. So I think those are the major note issues to point out. Those are always up on the forums. And then non-patch related news, spring playoffs are this upcoming weekend. So this is the playoffs for the spring championship in June. There will be Swiss on Saturday that's not broadcast. And then top 8 on Sunday will be streamed for all 3 regions. The top 4 from each region will qualify into the spring championship.
Rob, I know you're a content machine, but have you ever thought about, hey, this month we're just going to push for points because you are a good Hearthstone player and you play a lot of Hearthstone and you could get there probably if you really wanted to?
I mean, I get that question. I won't say a lot, but like it gets brought up because yes, like while that could be good content, it would ruin like Hearthstone for me, truly, because that's just not the way I enjoy playing the game. And the only way I've made it this long playing Hearthstone, I mean, we're going on 10 years, 11 years now, is because I've made the game, I play the game in the way I enjoy it the most. So I know the second I ever try to like mess with that feng shui, I'm done. Like I'm gonna, it just won't be good, right? So like I just know, well, like yeah, I don't think I'm no hands good. I don't, maybe we've been top 10 before, but like it doesn't, that's not why I like playing. Like competing is just not the game for me with Hearthstone. Maybe there'll be a card game in the future or a different strategy game that like the competition really gets me going. But Hearthstone is just a really fun, wacky game, and just making bad decks try to work or losing with them or just brewing. That's really just what I like. And like, and if with content, it's an interesting thing because if you're doing stuff you don't like and you're trying to make it work, it's very apparent to like the audience in YouTube videos, and it's just not good digestible content. Like you truly like having fun with the game, and then people seeing you having fun is fun. But if you're just not having fun, people watching you probably aren't going to be having fun. So that's kind of like how I treat that. But yeah, like there's always the itch, right? To be like, why don't you do better? And it's just like, I know you're not going to like it. I know you're not going to like it.
Yeah, no, fair. All right. So was that all on News Pilot?
That was all the news that I could
Yep.
find, at least.
Oh, I forgot to add, when you mentioned up Rune Totem, a small tidbit, a little tips and trick for everybody listening. If you have only one spot in your hand, so you player and you have like 10 cards, the card it'll give you will always be a treant with Tsunami on it.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I actually ran into a problem with I think not her, but the card that when you play her and then you play a spell, you get a treant that recasts that or that gives you that spell back.
yeah.
I played that, and I played one of the cards I played to get a treant was the Shatter card. And I was like, oh, we're going to do some gross things with this. But then I never got the Shatter card back when the treant died. So I don't know if that's a bug or not, but I was kind of sad about that.
Did I say Tsunami? It's the other one. You know what I'm saying? The one that like shuffles everything back. Am I
Typhoon.
crazy?
I was just
Typhoon.
checking that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
was actually
something
also on
sounds
the side
extra
typing it
wrong
up
with
because I'm
that.
like, I said Tsunami, but I meant Typhoon because that's a nature spell, right? Because I had a few chatters say that,
Yes.
and then I had gotten it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Not Tsunami. Typhoon, guys. Like same industry, just different thing.
I know what you meant.
Okay.
It just depends on which hemisphere you're in and what season it is, and that's what you call it. Is it spinning this way or is it spinning this way, right?
Yeah. You gotta monitor spin direction. Very important.
Absolutely. All right, so our main topic is obviously going to be the class sets, and I am surprised that none of us has said mini set yet. So I'm proud of us. We've done really good so far. So if you've been out there in social media at all, you've heard a lot of probably complaining about it and some negative reaction to kind of the power level and whatnot. And we're not going to focus on that. We are going to focus on kind of what we think about them in general, what we think could be better, what we think just about them. So we have some kind of like superlatives to go over for each class. But before we start, let's kind of talk about them in general. Now, Shaq, out of 3 out of the 4 classes were kind of built on like what we call a parasitic design, where it's like they all kind of are cards that work together, and if you don't really have them all, then you're not really doing the thing. like kind of like the quest and the quest things that tick the quest and all that. And they said just recently that not that they necessarily were getting away from them, but they said that hey, we had them too close together between quest and imbue, and we're and not imbue and herald, and we've kind of done that a little too much too often, and we're going to try to get away from that. But then here's our first class sets, and 3 out of 4 of them are there. How do you feel about the fact that these class sets have, for the most part, outside of Druid, been kind of this design?
So a good point, good point. Um, it stinks in the sense that like this beast package for Hunter, for example, right? You can't play that or fix it into or flex it into like any other Hunter deck. Like it has to go into that Hunter, right? So like when they make cards like Herald or Imbue and they pigeonhole it into like you need to play this kind of deck. I mean, maybe Imbue and Herald are a little bit different because you can kind of weave a couple other things in there, but like this Hunter one is so just you have to do the animal companion Hunter. Your deck needs to do the animal companion things. The dude paladin, you need to be playing a dude paladin deck or the cards just don't function. So yeah, I don't particularly like that at all because it just like there's no deck building there. It's play the dude cards. And yeah, they'll be like plus or minus in most optimized lists. But at the end of the day, it's just a dude deck. There's no other, you can't weave in a nice little OTK or a nice little just like insane AoE combo. But like, for example, Imbue Shaman, I don't know how many renditions of that deck I made, or like Light Show Mage. One card allowed me to build 10 different decks that revolved around Light Show. So like I love cards like that that allow me the flexibility of weaving those packages in and out of decks as I please with other packages. But when you have like you said, I guess the what did you call the package?
Parasitic.
Kind of parasitic.
Parasitic package. It's just like remove, I don't know, it just like limits so much. And yeah, I mean, but to speak highly on the Hunter, I think the Hunter mechanic, and I when they first announced it and I saw it, I thought it would be really bad and it was like extremely boring. And then I played it and I think how they implemented it was actually really good and fun. Like the Hunter deck is actually fun. Like the beasts you get are fun because you can kind of break down the mana costs and then summoning them, and then just having like Hunter normally doesn't have this big end game late value tool, and now they do, and it was cool. I think they did a really good job with that particular thing. While it might need to be tweaked a little bit, there's good to be said about it, but also like the linearness of it is bad, and I'm not a fan of that. Because I feel like we're not even a week past the release of these cards, and I feel like I did everything I could with all the decks or all the cards that are out and build all the decks I could. Like there's no more to explore. Like the decks are out, and then that's it.
All right, what do you think, Pilot?
Yeah, I don't mind some parasitic design because that's how you can truly force new decks. I don't know if I like saying force new decks, but that is where sometimes you're able to make new archetypes appear out of nothing, is by saying here are a bunch of cards that work together in a way that we haven't built before. Here you go. And if it works or not, who knows? So then it kind of gives the opportunity to do something like an animal companion hunter that wouldn't have happened without that. If it's not constant, I'm okay with that. I know that I think they specifically talked about, and maybe they talked about the parasitic design for like packages also, and I missed it. I know that they said that they weren't going to do as many like big deck building requirement keywords this year. Like last year we had, Imbue and Quest back to back that require you to build a whole deck around that single keyword. This year we got Herald, and they said that that's probably going to be, that's like the only one that we're going to get that's like that. And even those, I'm fine if it can be a smaller-ish portion of the deck to where, Herald takes up, 10 to 12 slots of your deck normally, and then you've got the other 18 that you can play with. And I think those size of these parasitic packages, I think, are generally more well received. The Mage class set is kind of that size. It's not good, but it's that size to where you can kind of play around with what the other half of the deck is, compared to the Hunter one to where you have to go all in on it, or do what some decks are doing and just play one of them and ignore the big theme that was going for, because right now the top no minion or no hand hunter deck is running Tame Pet with no way to summon animal companions because it says 1 mana draw a card, and then they repeat it with Tolvir.
That's so bad. That's so bad.
I saw that when I was looking around for an animal companion deck, and I know for a little while they were running, I think, the 4-drop that you choose an animal companion because they were running Tame Pet. Let's go ahead and get something off of it, and then it cut it out. So I do think that there's a limit in how often they do these designs, but I also think that it's an opportunity sometimes to explore new ways to do things and to find ways to do something maybe broad enough or different enough to where you can take a theme, or you can take a tribe or minion type and do something different with them that we haven't done before, and that is going to make it interesting for people, which we just haven't seen enough of that lately.
See, I like it when we have like the smaller packages, like you were saying, like that doesn't make it so that way either a set hits or doesn't hit. Like when we had the quest stuff, it's like, well, the stuff's all around quests and the quest sucks, so I guess we're not playing this class for now. I like it when we had things like rifts, which is like a couple cards, or the what was the demon hunter ones? The I always forget the name of these,
Relics.
but I love playing them. Relics. I love relics. But the relics they were a small package. It was 3 cards plus the payoff, right? So you had 3 classes, and then we had Earthens and Paladin, which never had the payoff, and it was like, well, where's our payoff? Give me a payoff, and it never had that, and that was I thought that was coming in the mini set. I was like, oh, we're gonna get rid of the payoff. Well, yeah,
payoff was more Earthens.
Yeah, payoff. Well, kind of, but you had to really like
whatever the legendary that resurrected stuff was, because it's supposed to bring back the 3 of them.
But I always liked when I like when you have a small package that has kind of some synergy that can fit in multiple different archetypes, that you can like, oh, I can use the rifts here. I can use the rifts here. I don't need all the rifts. I just need this rift. It worked out well. But I also like it when there's a little bit of a payoff to some of those. Like I said, I used to love when you used to play the guy that was like, hey, we're going to play all 3 of your relics, and wherever they are, we can take that. That felt good. Artificer. And it took a while for them to kind of like get those to the right spot. Same thing, like it took them a couple patches to get them balanced into a way that they were playable. Same thing with rifts, took a couple things. Same things with the dread seeds, not the dread seeds, the hunter ones that had to be
wild seeds.
Nerfed. Wild seeds had to be nerfed like every single time. But that was fun. That was a fun little package, right? And that was something that didn't. They worked together, but they didn't make it so that way you had to play wild seed hunter. You could play wild seeds in this. You could play wild seeds in big hunter. You could play wild seeds in discover whatever it might be at the time. And I like when you have those little things that they work together, but they're not. Either you can play them or you don't, or you don't have a deck and you're never going to see those cards again. So that's kind of design I like. As far as what they have here, yeah. So there is some choice, like with the hunter, you have the choice, like, do you really want to play the final one, the one that summons all 3 of them, possibly 4 if you have that. Maybe that's too slow. Maybe you don't keep that, but that's why they had it. I don't know why they didn't put 2 my side into the core set, since they're doing all this anyway. That would have been a good thing. So the mage one, I think, well, we'll talk about what we think needs to change in those anyway. But like that, yeah, that might be good enough to fit into multiple different packages. So that might be more along the lines of what I'm talking about if it was playable.
Yeah. So I think if I can chime in just a second here, I think that the biggest issue from the player base normally comes when we have these parasitic designs that are just a different coat of paint of stuff that we've already seen before, compared to finding something different. And I'm going to use like the new Lorcana set, because they just introduced Toy Story and they wanted to make toys a type of card that you could play with. So they put all the Toy Story cards in 3 different colors and made a bunch of toy cards, because they had to push it with it being the first set that had that as a type. But for all 3 colors, they use it in a very different way. For yellow, it's all stuff that you're doing on your turn, and all about like when you play things that cost, that are cheap and very aggro based. For red, it's whenever your toys are banished, it do an effect, to where it's using it in totally different ways, but you're still finding ways to shove all these different toys in your deck. And then green is doing a bunch of weird stuff with actions and items and doesn't fit the other 2 at all. But if you decide to put those two colors together, you can kind of still make it work. And there's ways that you can figure stuff out with it while still giving you enough of, hey, these cards are meant to go together, but you've got a few options to make it work, and they're all different, done differently. That's, I feel like, what we haven't seen as much yet, to where it's just like, hey, here's the thing. These cards upgrade it. These cards do the thing. Have fun, maybe.
And that's something I was going to ask about too, is because a lot of times with the way that these things work, it is kind of, hey, the more you play, the bigger things get, the more powerful they get, and then you get to kind of a critical mass or whatnot. And that seems to be kind of like the well they go to quite often with a lot of these designs. And is it something that maybe I'm not a game designer, I'm not a card designer. There's, like you were just saying, there's got to be other ways to do it where it doesn't feel that way all the time. Where it's like, well, I guess I didn't draw my imbue card, so my deck crap because now my Deathwing only does one thing and all that. So, do we think we're too kind of locked into this kind of design because it's just how it is, or do you think there are other ways we could possibly take some of these card designs and do with it?
I think it's fine to do it in some cases because it's something that you can easily do in a digital game because the number updates itself on the card and you don't have to bother with keeping track of anything. I think we need to start fading out the minion based ones, the get a higher cost minion, because those are awful.
How do I answer this? It's a very interesting question because like you need to have a balance, right? There needs to be a balance of like deck direction sometimes. And there also needs to be the balance of like small packages or like being able to weave cards in to stuff. Because like we also have to keep into account like not every player plays as much Hearthstone as us or as long as us. So like when I talk to friends who like pick it back up, they gravitate towards the deck that kind of tells you how to build it, tells you how to play it, and then from there, after they play it a while and they enjoy the game, then they start experimenting with some of the stuff that we're talking about, where like you start weaving in packages and stuff like that. We do it naturally because we've been doing it so long, but to like a 98% of all of their players, it's not like that at all, right? So it's really hard as like a developer because they hear feedback from us, and our feedback is so biased and very different than general player sentiment. So being able to like thread the needle on that of having enough interesting, unique cards and deck ideas that give us enough to digest and play with, but also the game being simple enough and easily accessible and buildable for like new to intermediate players. So I think both need to be weighed in. And it's like a really hard line to go down. And that's why, game directors and card designers make a ton of money because they got to figure out these problems.
So I occasionally open up a Magic the Gathering pack. I'll buy one and I'll look at it. And like, I don't know how anybody new starts playing Magic, because you look at like you get the one card, you pick it up and it's like a paragraph. Like if you have food tokens, but you haven't eaten more than 5 and Johnny was over here and Timmy's in your graveyard, then you can, it's nuts.
Yeah, you got to start the cheese factory, and the cheese factory needs the cows, and the cows create cheese tokens. And then you got to go to the you know what I'm talking about, that short.
Oh, no.
And then you got to go to the trader, and the trader only talks to Joe, so you have to get a bunch of Joes on the board so you can sell it to the cheese factory. So you go to the manufacturing facility to get the cows.
No. They nerfed cheese factory. It's fine. But now you need
the Parm factory.
No, you need the haberdashery. But so yeah, I mean, so it's just interesting, right? Because it's just like a lot of times we get the design and we get to that, like, and it's a good point you have. It's like, hey, how do you play the game? I keep playing these cards and my things get bigger, and eventually I punch my opponent in the face. It's just, it'd be nice if there was some, and they do it. Not saying they never do it, but it'd be nice if there were some other ways to increase your power than just doing that same thing over and over again. So, Pylet, we'll start with you on this one. Now that we've seen the first round, how do you feel about class sets versus mini sets?
I still want to see a second one before I make a solid opinion on it. I said before, my excitement for mini sets had been fading anyways. And I think I want to say it was Storm Rage I saw talk about a Discord as somebody. I want to say it was Storm Rage. talking very similar about how it faded because they stopped being as thematic. And then it was just kind of this assortment of cards that sometimes did things, or it was 30 cards that didn't do anything and 2 cards that were absolutely busted, or they pushed decks that were already good anyways. So I'm like, I was ready for something different. Whether that was taking them away or switching them up, I was ready for that. But I still was hesitant about, okay, we're only hitting 4 classes at a time. What is that going to look like? And I don't, I still don't know what that looks like, because this one, I think that there's some potential in some of these. And I think that there's a couple tweaks that could be made to make them worth it. Druid is hard to read because Druid just got a bunch of generic cards, and some of them just don't have a home right now, but I think are powerful enough that they will. Dude Paladin is kind of hanging out where it probably should be, but the others are just, it's so hard to tell because it's very package based, to where I don't know. For me, it's still out there. I'm glad they changed something. I don't know if this is the answer.
Shaq, how do you feel about mini sets versus class sets?
I made a video on this and talked about it a little bit, but I guess to sum it up quickly, so what Pylet said, like, it's an idea. I'm glad they changed something. I'm glad they decided on something and they like executed it to the best of their ability. But like when you hear it, you're like, okay, and then like you right off the bat, you have like 5 glaring issues with what was said, right? Where only certain classes are getting stuff. It gets focalized, like super like targeted on like, okay, I guess we're gonna play mage for the next 3 months. There's like tons of inherent problems that come with it. And like for a new idea of how they're gonna like release cards, it shouldn't be like, this is the idea. Oh, here are all the problems. It's been like, oh, that's a great idea. And then it takes some time to like think about issues with that idea. But generally, really great ideas don't inherently have like fundamental flaws on the cover of the book. Like, let's make it to like chapter 2 before we have some like really like big problems. Like, oh wow, this doesn't do this. But this one, it's like on the cover, right? Like you just like inherently can see it. And they even answered that they already knew the sentiment of the player when writing about class sets before it was released, because even on the notes it was like, oh, if your class isn't one of the 4, don't worry, you'll have your time later in the year. While it may feel bad, just wait 6 months. Like, what? So
Yeah. See, it's all about the money, right? It's they have the mini sets because it's another, like someone said, hey, we can make a little money if we hold a few cards back and do that. I want them to just take, and this is not on Team 5. They are understaffed. Like Microsoft Blizzard could probably double that team without even blinking an eye at the profits. But and I don't know.
Hearthstone's a cash cow. It's a cash cow.
Yeah.
It's disrespected though. Disrespected cow.
I agree. But that's because we haven't got the cheese factory to get the cheese tokens.
Yeah, I sent you that link. You better watch that later.
Oh, I've seen that before. I will watch it again. I love it. But no. So what I think they should just do is, however much money they're expecting to make off of mini sets and off of the card sets, add it all together, and then instead of having mini sets, give us 4 sets, and then just divide the price on that. So you get more because you'll get more excitement by having the 4th set come out and having the shorter kind of meta sets than having a mini set that probably flops, or a class set that probably flops, because now it's kind of like okay, like we're not excited about this and all that. But then if you have the 4 sets, it's like you can get that hype set early.
I love that idea, and that's what Magic does. Honestly, it's too much. 4 sets a year, that's like every 2 months or 3 months an expansion comes out. And right now, like, huge sentiments is like the game's too expensive. So if you're just gonna release something that you can't buy with gold, I think the whole thing about the mini sets and class sets is you can buy them with gold. I think that's a big deal. So if you release something that now you can't buy with gold and remove the thing that you can, while I would love that, I would love 4 sets a year. They would never go for that. The player base would revolt. But what gave me an idea when you said that was, if we're going to do a class set every 4 months and we're releasing 4, why don't we do a class set every month? So every month a class gets a set of cards. I mean, because then every month we have something to look forward to. Granted, if who's ever last in the year, El Rip Bozo, but I mean,
that's fine because that's going to be Monk anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know about that. I can't say too much, but I don't think we're getting Monk.
Yeah, no, I'm sticking with it because when we do get Monk at the end, and people are like, Tito was right all along.
The bread and butter was always right.
Bread and butter was always right, and you know,
Can't
we
even believe it's what is margarine? Can't believe it's real or not real.
I can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's not butter. Yeah.
And we're not in the creative program, so we have no insider information yet. So we're working on it. We're trying. By the way, so you were talking earlier about the I'll tell you about that later. Next I don't want to derail too much. So by all accounts, so we talked about this a little bit. And Shaq, I think you can speak to this the most because you've played a lot more than I have. I actually was waiting. I didn't play the mini set for the class set for the first like 3 days. I said I'm just gonna finish getting legend first because I didn't want to like drop back down and all
You're
that.
a dirty
it took me
man.
a little while to get there. I was like, let's get there, let's get it done. But on that climb, even though it took me longer than expected, I barely saw any new cards. Like from D5 to legend, no one was playing them. But so as we've said, they've been kind of underpowered, and I don't want to dwell on the fact that they were underpowered, but where should like the power level be when they do release these sets if they can control it? Because we don't want them to be like this, where it's kind of like these don't change anything. I don't want to play them, but we also don't want them to be day one Demon Hunter either, right? So I think this is a really hard thing for them to figure out because where should they fall?
Yeah, so that's like the impossible question, right? Because you release new stuff. If new stuff is really good and oppressing, oh, I didn't pay money for this, and now I'm just gonna lose to it all day because I didn't buy this. You release something, it's OP, it's dumb, it's of course. And then if it's, that's a bad. And then if it's just bad in general, like it's not very strong, it's like, why did I spend money on this? These cards are useless. These guys don't know what they're doing. So it is truly an impossible battle to win. Like it is every expansion. It's the cards are too good. They're OP. They're broken. How could you release these? They need to get nerfed, or the cards are too bad. They need to get buffed. There is no in between ever. And there has never been an in between. So I wish I had an answer to that. I truly do. For the sake of what I would want, I would rather cards be too good or like at the start, because nerfing cards I think is a little bit easier because you can see their power level, what their impact is, and what they're doing, and then you can tweak it till it like finds a nice median, rather than a card being strictly unplayable. There's no data, no one's playing with it, and then we have a shot in the dark of how to make it better, right? I think the getting a card to be bad to good, there's more margin of error than if a card is too good and let's make it okay. In my mind, at least, I think. So, but in my mind, I would love every 2 weeks, we just take whatever the 10 best performing cards are. Let's knock 1 to 2 percentage points off them by making very small but meaningful changes. And we take the bottom cards and we give them small but meaningful changes upward. And I'd love something for that every like 2 weeks. Because there's tons of cards that just truly never see play. That are quite fun. To throw out something, the warrior card that put the seeds in your deck for 5 mana that would summon the 5 mana cards, and every time you played one, the Plantalonus, the Spore Girl, like that card never got to see play. I spent probably a good solid 80 to 150 games. I probably won 2 trying to get my Seed Spore Lady to work. Couldn't do it. But a change you could make to that card that would all of a sudden make it like middle of tier B, bottom of tier B, you just add Discover to it. Boom.
Yep.
Like that's it. And if it was too good, just remove Discover. At least we gave it a shot, right? They do not lean into it being a digital card game where they really can change as much as they want. The physical games like Locrana and One Piece, they really have to be so like strict and stingent and so careful on the cards that they print, because if it doesn't work out, they just ban it, right? Like that's really your only option. But Hearthstone, they have like this landscape of openness that they could be frolicking in, but they just are just staying in one part of it, and they're not frolicking or making as many updates or changes or really testing what they can and can't do with the game. But
I think this is the second episode in a row where the word we've had you on that the word frolicking has come up.
well,
Like-
it's always good to have a
I
good
love it.
frolic.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I agree with you 100%. Like, I think that I think people get upset because things change too much. They, like, if they have a favorite deck and the meta gets nerfed, and they're like, oh, I can't have a good deck. But if you are and the issue is staffing and whatever. So how to keep things balanced, and they want to keep things balanced, and how to have the time to do it and not. But I agree with you. I think that not only should they be doing that we should be getting just minor tweaks, bring things up, bring things down. Oops, we kind of missed. Oh, we gave you Luna's Pocket Galaxy. That was too good. Let's reduce it. Let's just adjust it every couple weeks, and that's fine.
I think that was fine. Like that added, it went from something to nothing to something back to nothing. But it happened at different stages in the meta, so it felt fresh-ish and different. It was at least something. So.
But they also have the core set, which they have the power to change at any time because we're not paying for it. So just say, hey, you know what? This deck's not hitting. What if we add a couple of these cards from core? Maybe that'll help. And there's no reason why we have to have a balance of, hey, every class has 7 cards from core and we have 50. You can adjust it however you want and just
no one's gonna complain to get new cards. If you say, hey guys, we're rotating 2 class set hunter cards in, no one's gonna be like, don't do that. They're gonna accept them because they're free, like you said.
Like to my side would be perfect addition right now.
Exactly. You had mentioned that earlier.
So I think that. So Pylet, any thoughts?
To my side would be not a great addition probably because your deck has to have no minions.
But that's a new build. So you'd have 2 different hunters. You'd have a minion based beast hunter and an all spell beast hunter. So then they would have to probably print. Actually, it's just the Elic. That really is the other. So you just cut the Elic and then add in more spells, and then they just rotate in Yogg, of course. And then we just have a Yogg for 10 mana that would cast a bunch of spells for.
And I'm not saying it has to be better, Pylet. I'm not saying that we have to hey, rotate things in that'll make things better. Rotate things in that'll give people choices and the option to explore and try things.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if my choice was between that and Call of the Wild, which they did put in core, I'd probably take Call of the Wild as the core card.
But Core of the Wild's more expensive, and also you're waiting.
Sure, my side costs 6.
So so when they introduce it, they can make it 5.
The Hunter deck also has no 6-drops. I couldn't find a single good 6-drop to put in the Beast Hunter deck. It goes 5 to 7. We need the 6. We need the 6.
Oh goodness. Okay.
So we don't have quorum, but we have 2-1 on To My Side. Okay.
So,
we're teaming up on the one-armed man.
It's okay. It's okay. I had the whole school do the same thing to me. It's fine. It was by the next morning there were 3 memes already up on the board.
Oh my gosh.
So
he's our Mike from Twin
students.
Peaks. He's Mike from Twin Peaks, the one-armed man.
So I think I would also prefer, for new cards to be slightly over than slightly under, just for the same reasons that we've talked about, to where then they draw attention. It's easier to find what to do with them, compared to slightly under, trying to figure out what the right push is to then make it find a spot in the meta. But I also, would like to push that, there are plenty of times where none of us have any clue what we're talking about, because how many people on their bingo card had 80% Imbue Druid before the set came out?
I blame Clark still for that.
I mean, I think once it happened, everyone was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. But I don't know how many people saw 80% popularity or whatever ridiculous number it got up to.
We all knew Imbue was coming, though. We didn't know it was going to be as popular as it was, but everyone's like, well, Imbue Shaman is pretty much going to still be Imbue Shaman, so I bet you people will start trying it. It just, we did not expect it to be what it was. And yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we still it's still hard for us to predict these things, and these are unrefined decks trying to find a place in a pretty refined meta, because we've had a stable meta now for 4 weeks, because that last nerf patch was just a couple of cards. It's been very stable, and they're fighting a very uphill battle against the face hunters, no minion DHs, token and Marithra druids, to where it's very much trial by fire and trying to figure it out in the worst possible situation, compared to a brand new set or a new rotation where everyone's trying to figure it out at the same time. So anything that gets somewhat close probably has some legs. It's just trying to get it close enough to where people don't give up on it after the first day, because people will never be happy unless it's absolutely busted right out of the gate. And then the other people won't be happy.
The way you're just saying that, I just picture Owen Wilson from Armageddon saying, "Oh, so the worst possible environment you could possibly imagine." That's all you had to say.
And I want to throw out, for my case in point, looking at HS replay for Legend since the class sets dropped, there's one card from the class sets that has a deck win rate that is positive, and it was not the card I expected.
All right, let me take a guess. Tito, you want to take a guess?
I'm gonna guess this
is deck win rate. So this is decks that is in, these decks are having this win rate.
My guess is Convalescence. 2 mana, summon 2 1/1s with Divine Shield.
That is
because I can go in any deck. That's second. Okay, so
second.
Wow. For me, man, I don't even know, to be honest.
It's not Dragon Soul.
I was honestly, the only card in my head is Dragon Soul right now. I mean, you said the no hands tame pet card, but it can't be that. So I mean, truly, I don't even know. I have no guess.
It's not tame pet. That's up there.
Yeah.
It is Ashworm. The
1 mana 6/6
dormant.
Is because it just got played in the deck?
It got thrown in token druid.
It's at the top because there was like 6 games played with it, and it won 4 of them.
It has percent of decks is 1.3%. So which is more than most of the other druid cards. So that I forgot that card was printed. So that was
actually the first deck I tried. It felt so bad.
It probably is, if you actually like the mulligan and draw and win rate for all the cards are fairly low, other than Tame Pet. Like if you're looking at draw win rate, Tame Pet, Rune Totem, Roam Free actually, and the Hunter Legendary Talia are above 50.
Right. And before we get to the superlatives that we'll go through for each of these sets, the one thing that you had brought up a point where like, hey, we are engaged players, we are the top 2%, whatever, right? That number. That's the same reason why the balance changes every 2 weeks wouldn't work. Because the 98% of the people would log in and be like, wait, my deck doesn't work. What changed again? Why every time I log in it changes? So, that's probably why they don't.
Yes,
because we had that for like a year.
The argument against that though is you don't delete cards like they deleted in Druid. You just don't delete it. You just change it. Like, this deck is overperforming 80% of the meta. 2 weeks they roll out just a couple small but meaningful changes. You don't click the delete button on the deck where you just like,
I agree. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then, all right, so they take it from 80% and it goes down to like 65. Didn't quite hit the mark, but lowered it. So they got in the right direction. You look at the cards that are still overperforming. What can we do to these? Did we not do enough? And then like the 3 mana 3/3, you get 2 free hero powers. That's 7 mana for free on turn 3 that they play on turn 2 with a spell that ramps the thing that they're ramping with. So like there was clear indicators of extremely powerful cards. They didn't need to hit the actual design of the deck. They needed to hit the cards that made the design insane, which was the free hero powers, 0 mana nature spells generating nature spells that discount nature spells. So,
but that's like the problem with. I 100% agree with you. but that's not how we work nowadays. Right now, it's either it's yes or no. We're binary. Everything's binary. If you go on social media, it's either it works or it doesn't work. It's like, well, hey, this would actually affect 20%, and that'd be 20% better. But like, no, it doesn't solve the problem, so that's stupid. And it's like, hey, like, oh, I really like waffles. What do you get against pancakes? What? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
So
I just like the imbue deck and the nature, it was cool, right? Changing your hero power and doing all that, and like again, decks like that are needed for newer players, new to intermediate players that like want to get into it, don't want to spend a lot, and want a clear like game decision. Should that deck be like tier S? No, but could it be middle of tier B? Absolutely. We should have a whole bunch of decks in the middle of tier B for tons of people to play that aren't particularly hard to pilot. So
it's particularly hard for Pylet to pilot.
I need easy decks. Yeah.
All right, so for each of our 4 sets, I have 4 questions I want to ask. Are the cards fun to play? Like regardless of the power, and this is regardless of the power level. Are they fun to play? Does it feel well designed? If they were to buff it to be playable as an opponent, is it going to feel toxic to lose to? That's, I think, a big thing, right? Because it's like, oh, hey, look, it's Ziliax again. Oh, but this sucks. And what do you feel like needs to change to these cards to make the set playable? And Druid might be a little hard to do that because it's again not necessarily so parasitic where it's like you change one card each. So you can kind of go with there. But so let's go ahead and start with Hunter. Shaq, are the cards fun to play?
Some of them. I think the Key Lime Pie Mage is cool. I think the Hunter is all right.
Oh no,
I think,
Hunter.
oh.
We're starting with Hunter. Hunter.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think
Just
I think it's all right. It needs to be modified and stuff, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I was surprised.
Pylet?
I think it's fun because it's very unique.
I enjoyed it, especially because I thought you were going to play the cards and you weren't going to know what your pool was. It's just, you know that you have a pool of 3, but who knows what they are until you actually discover them. But it actually shows you them pop up and all that, which I thought was actually pretty elegant design the way they did that. So I liked it.
I did too. I did not know that going into it either, and then it did that. I'm like, oh, this is so nice, because then you know on 4, like, okay, do I want to upgrade this or summon something?
Yeah, and sometimes you could be like, oh, I'm going to get that 7/7. That's good. Maybe I should play that instead. Or I'm only going to get a 1/4. Maybe I shouldn't. You know, so it gives you those options. Does it feel well designed? Shaq?
Yeah, I would say for the most part, sure.
Pylet?
I think they in between also. I think that they could have done another in the middle summon card somewhere in here rather than relying us to run the core cards. Or some other way to interact with them, maybe, but
it does feel a little weird only having like Animal Companion and then the roam and then the call. But I mean, it's a lot of value, right? Like you spend the game ramping and then you have like these blowout turns. So, yeah.
Yeah. We do also have 2 years where anything that says Animal Companion then is affected by this.
Well, not just that. Anytime a beast gets put into the pool, now it's also affected that if we get...
Yeah, but I'm thinking if we get like a Patchwork Pal style card, again, like that is technically changed by this.
I liked it. I like that they took something that was kind of iconic as far as the Animal Companions and twisted it on its head a little bit and did something different. I like the way that they went with it. Overall, I think it's kind of an interesting approach, and I like the way they did it. Will it feel toxic to lose to if it's playable? I'm just gonna keep going Shaq the Pylet. So
if what's playable?
If Beast Hunter becomes,
I think it's gonna get annoying when they fix the bug to 10, and then I have to play against Turtle every game, Turtle and Dog, if that's ever a thing. Like it just feels really like you're guaranteed to get the Dog with Wind Fury, and you're guaranteed to get Turtle every time. And I was playing Herald DK, and they outvalued me multiple times with like 4 Inixias. It was crazy. But I mean, it'll probably get tiring, yes, but at the moment it's new, so
that's fair. A Pylet?
Yeah, same. When stuff like this gets too repetitive, like when we were doing the tendrils, and the 9 or 10 cost was always Sunset Volley or whatever,
Yeah.
and Sunset or this, and it's just like, okay, this is enough. If it gets to that point, yes.
Yeah. After the 4th game of getting Sunset Volleyed 4 times in a row, it's like, all right.
And I agree. I think that anytime something that's supposed to be random has a way to become more consistent, can really, especially when it's something like Tortola, which we've already had enough Tortola to last us 7 lifetimes. But the ways they can get around it is they could say, hey, you can't get any of the legendary the wild gods, or you
Wild
could
gods.
introduce more
Well, yeah.
or
Just more beasts. More 10
or
drop
yeah, you could
beasts.
introduce more 10 drop beasts to the core. Like
Yeah.
that's the power they have. All right, and Shaq, in your opinion, what needs to change to make this new stuff playable?
Got to fix the bugs. But it's hard to say. The Hunter stuff, I still think people are feeling it out, so I wouldn't really make. I don't think Hunter actually needs any changes right now, other than to like fix the apparent issues of like the card just not working.
Pilot?
Yeah, I think that this partly goes to the well-designed side of it, but the cards that are kind of rough have a lot of numbers that they can play with, and a lot of things that they can play with, because you can play with the cards that buff, upgrade them, or you can, play around with the minions that go with it and make it to where it's not as much of a tempo penalty, playing a 4-mana 2/2 to get to pick one of the companions. That could probably be a little bit closer to on curve stats for getting something semi-random.
Yeah. And I'm kind of with Shaq. Is it's still kind of, this one feels like it's almost there. It's playable. It doesn't feel so dominating. It takes advantage of one of the stronger cards with the Confront the Tolvir. I feel like it's in a good spot, and I don't know what I would tweak more, except for, like you said, fixing the actual bugs so I don't get a card back as one of my minions, and maybe smooth out that top end by making it worse by giving us more beasts to summon at 10, or I don't know if we're getting when they fix it after 10, are we just going to get 3 Gigasaurs? I don't know. So we'll see. Which, that could still be fun, but
As far as the other cards, the 2 non-package cards could go down a mana cost and still barely be played. Nurturing Nature and the Wasteland Vanguard. Like, Vanguard could be a 3-mana 3/3 that deals 3 and does it again if it kills something, and no one would complain about that.
It'd probably just get slotted into Face Hunter then. It probably wouldn't even go in the new stuff. It would just go in the old stuff.
Which that's not meant to be the animal companion card. It's just
a good
so
Hunter
bad
card.
at 4. It's so bad at 4.
I tried it. It felt really weird.
And that's the other weird thing too, is right. It's like it feels like the animal companions are so good that it feels like upgrading to 4, they're worse than the animal companions. Like pretty much almost all the 4 level beasts are worse. So, yeah, and maybe a card, maybe one of the cards that actually puts them into your hand rather than just summons them, because like some of them you want the battle cries for. So if you had one card that like put them into your hands that I could choose to play them, rather than you can come maybe get some strategy out that, I could possibly generate the card that this card's, or whatever it might be. All right, so Druid, Shaq, are they fun? Are Druid cards fun to play?
Rune Totem is. That's it.
All right, Pylet, what do you think?
Undecided. I haven't played any of them yet, or played against them.
Yeah, a lot of these were weird. So like I haven't played a ton with them either, because if I do play with them, I'd be playing bad Druid cards again. And again, we're taking a break from bad decks. But yeah, the Druid, the Rune Totem is a real lot of fun. It's nice when you can play like a 1-mana Shaladrasil off of this guy or whatever like that. So
it works really nice with Dios. I know that's with a ramp druid you can do whatever because you have infinite mana, but yeah, you do like the Dios and then it triggers it twice, and then each of the treants trigger twice, so you can really do some diabolical stuff with that. Granted, it takes a ton of mana, but like if you're gonna play the Dios, then you can play a bunch of other stuff that benefits from the Dios as well. So yeah.
Can you get
But
the Shattered card as one of the totems? I haven't seen that yet.
I don't know. I did not get any of the shattered cards from the little Treant people. No.
Or maybe it's not even. Maybe it's not nature. No, it is nature. It is nature because that was part of the. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work, but I don't think I saw that one. I saw Cedricil a lot. I saw like Innervates a bunch. I saw like Mark of the Wild a bunch and things like that. Nature and Wrath. But yeah, and then like the 3-mana card, the draw one. If you don't play a minion, okay. If you do happen to get it early, sure, you get 6 armor and you draw 2 cards. But like at any other point in the game, like at like 5 beyond, you're playing minions. You're playing a ramp deck, right? You're playing a big minion every turn. So like you're just like playing this really bad card instead of like playing ramp or survivability. And then the 5-mana taunt card is kind of falls under the same boat of just like he might work out 1 or 2 times, but the majority is going to be stuck in your hand because you are playing minions every turn, besides in the very early game, the first 4 turns. But after the first 4, you're already at like 13,000 mana. So there's really, it's such a weird card. I feel like the Druid, like a couple of the cards were like Chad GPT'd. It's like design card that skips mana. And then that's what it came up with.
The 8-mana is 8-mana or the 9-mana cost one, the one that heals all
Life
your
Bloom.
minions. Life Bloom. That actually feels good off of the Treant, but I don't know if
Yeah.
you're running that in your deck.
I tried to play it for 9 mana. It just didn't like. Yeah, if you get it off the Treant, it's good. But like I saw a couple people main decking it. I don't know. I couldn't really make use of it because it didn't really matter because you have so much armor for the Underbog anyway. Like healing for whatever didn't matter.
It has this. It also has the same issue that that mage has when we get there of the pool of random minions at those high costs is way all over the place.
Yeah. You go
Like,
from 3/3s and 5/5s to like 12/12s.
There's a lot of 3/3s and 4/4s
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. It is not good.
But you want that, right? You want not necessarily as bad as it is, but if you have a card that does that, you occasionally want to get what was it, Harik the Bat? Where it's like, hey, I'm gonna win the game, and then it's like, nope, I got a 1/1 that does
You got
nothing.
a Mr. Clocksworth.
You kind of want to plan on averaging out to somewhat close to vanilla stats for it, and right now the average is very under, I think.
That's fair. So aside from the Chat GTP cards, Shaq, do you feel like these cards are well designed at all?
Druid cards, no. I think Rune Totem's chill. I think it's a fun card. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be competitive because it's completely random. But like, I think that out of that, that's fine. The rest of them are no. There's no flavor to it.
See, I'm on the other side. I feel like they're very druidy. Like Druid, I feel like Druid. Like it's hard to kind of nail down exactly what Druid does other than ramp. But all these cards I looked at, I'm like, yeah, that feels like something Druid would want to do.
Yeah, like
other than maybe
what they do, but they're not very fun. Like there's nothing fun or inherently cool or flavorful about them, right?
That's fair. But I'm also not drawn to play Druid very much, so that I think those are related.
Yeah, I think this was their opportunity. So this is all new to them doing these class sets, and they had the ideas for doing the hey, we're gonna have the NL campaigns, we're gonna have the ley lines. The heck do we do with Druid? And like, well, people seem to be upset with ramp, so let's not do a whole lot with that. What can we do? It's like, well, why don't we see what we can do if we don't really pick a design and we just kind of add cards and see if anything's so I'm okay with the direction they went by like, hey, let's give you a bunch of things and see if any of these cards are good cards and maybe you can use them together to I was okay with that. So I don't know, they seem okay. I'm surprised we didn't get any choose one cards. I don't feel like they're poorly designed. I don't think they're super exciting except for Rune Totem as well. They feel like cards that we are going to generate and play, but not necessarily run in a deck. So for me, the jury's still out on that. Do you think that, or Shax, do you think that if some of these cards become more playable, any of them will be like toxic to lose to?
I mean, losing because your opponent, like, you know, cheated 10 mana doesn't particularly feel great. So, yeah. If they ever become a thing, but I don't know, the way that they're designed, they're kind of capped because they can't play minions, but maybe there's like an all spell Druid deck that like really only runs a couple minions that benefit from not playing minions, so it makes sense. But we'd have to see. I don't know. There's nothing right there that strikes me as being like insanely toxic to play against.
So like an imbue druid, maybe.
Well, no, they butchered it. They honestly that this package could have probably fit into an imbue druid if they didn't butcher imbue druid. So
And maybe that was the plan when they designed it. Was like this will go into a Bew druid. And
well, you use the P word, you use plan. There was none of that going on here, buddy. Hey, calm down with these big words.
Pylet, would you frolic through some druid here? Do you think it would be toxic?
I don't think so. I mean, outside of the normal ramp druid toxicity that people feel when they have to double your mana and they're just playing big spells and healing for 1 million, but not outside of the normal druid crimes.
That's fair. And I do kind of like, and this is a little to the side, but I do kind of like the 2-mana treant that gives you ramp because it doesn't fit into. But he doesn't fit into every deck. He's good, but like there are some decks where it's like I don't like. Well, if like I was playing the Chrono Druid where it's like I was only running 2 minions because I was trying to get, and that's me maybe, but it's like I did not want to recruit this. I did not want to. You don't want to play Earthen Might or whatever it's called, not Earthen Might.
Azor's Triumph.
Oaken Summons. You don't want to pull this out of your deck. So it at least it makes it so it's not going to go in every single druid deck possibly. Although maybe you do and just risk it.
It probably
pretty
should.
Good. It probably should. That card is like insane. That card is currently probably carrying druid. Without that card, druid like isn't even near the top or close to it.
The aura does some work also for the games.
Yeah. The aura definitely helps a lot too. But
the combination of the two keeps them going. Yeah.
No, so Shaq, what do you think needs to change in Druid on the mini set specifically? The class set.
Oh, he messed it up.
I said messed it up
so good.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know. The cards that came out, none of them like you're building a deck around. You know what I mean? Like there's no. It's just a draw card. Get mana back when you play it, taunt minion, and some treants that are all random, right? There's no theme. There's not a new archetype coming here. These are just cards you can play and or generate in Druid. So I don't really know what I would change right now because like it doesn't. None of them really do anything. Like I played with them, and they exist, but you're not building a deck around these cards, so it's hard to say.
I tried to build the deck I was telling you about. I did try to build Treant Druid around Rune Totem because it's 3 more treants that die. You get some good stuff off of them that can potentially buff your other. And then I was getting the card that summons the +1/+1 for every treant that's died this turn. That was getting pretty sick off of that. And especially when you got one of those off of the totems themselves or the treants themselves, it was really strong. And picture doing that with Dios and stuff like that. So I tried to one card I tried to build around and add it to like as a focal point of that. But yeah, I agree with you. Pylet.
Yeah, I think they're more or less fine where they are.
All right. Shaq, Paladin, fun to play.
No.
Pylet?
I'm always game for a dude Paladin every now and then. It's normally not super exciting, but it's nice to have it every few years.
Yeah, I don't know. It was okay. Like I enjoyed winning with it when I was winning with it. I played a little bit of it and a small sample size. I was having some success with it, and it definitely is kind of like a white weenie type of a deck there. So I don't know. It's a lot all in on the little guys, and there's some weird choices that you have to kind of pick from because some of them buff everything for the whole game, some of them only buffs if you happen to have them on that turn. For some reason we put a bunch of 1/1s into your hand rather than summon them or something. So I don't know, it's kind of all over the place. It's fun, but at least with the Paladin I feel like a couple of the cards can go into a deck that doesn't necessarily have to be all the dudes. So it's one of those ones where it's like, yes, they do all go well together, but at least a couple of them you can kind of like Convalescence is going to go into like almost any druid deck. It's just that good. Run it with the stupid 1/2 Murloc, and that's a pretty good board in a box on turn 2, or even 1 if you coin it out. So, does it feel well designed, Shaq? I think I know the answer to this.
I mean, it's not fun, but it's designed well for like dude paladin. Like the design is there, like it does what it's supposed to do, which is make dudes and buff them. So I would say it's designed well for a dude paladin. Sure.
Pylet?
Like it's dude design.
Yeah, same. Especially, I mean, I think the one card that the two more expensive cards stand out to most to me, the legendary and the weapon. I don't quite like where they're at, or they're just kind of at awkward spots. But I think, being able to give a rush, being able to have for the health being a when this loses divine shield, kind of playing with that rather than just battle cry or death rattle, gives us something to where you can play around with that a little bit more to buff health. But yeah, kind of similar to Warshack. It's designed as well as something like this could be.
I think there's potential to not use the whole package, like I just said. I think that having some kind of end Eternidin that is more aggro base with the, and it's not even really an aggro deck. It's more of a mid range deck. You think like with all the 1/1s you're playing, it's like you're going to be an aggro deck. And yes, you can have early games where you win on turn like 5 or whatever like that. But a lot of times it feels like you are spending a lot of time setting up to get big turns in the middle or towards the end of the game and make the game go longer. So I don't know. I don't think we needed to revisit Dude Paladin. I honestly don't. It just does. It's not something that I feel like anyone's really nostalgic for, except for like 7 people, and I don't know. It's fine. I'll play some of it because it definitely does. It feels like it has potential to be fairly strong, or at least have the ability to win games if you can figure out the right combination of things, but it doesn't excite me. Does it feel toxic to lose to if it's good?
It feels kind of bad. There's just 2 cards and they're not new. It's the 5 mana 3/4 Divine Shield, have to break a 3-time card, and then the card that gives Divine Shield, if it has it, give +3/+3. So if you like play these cards on curve and coin them out, there's not enough removal in the game to really deal with it. And then also like Dark Gift, being able to give one of those cards Reborn or summon a copy of is just game over. There's literally not a card in the game that can deal with it. So you just lose. Best case is you're a priest and you run Shadow Word Ruin and they happen to buff them too high. That's really your only out.
Well, you got the other priest card, the random rewind, silence and destroy a minion.
Cease and desist.
Cease and desist.
Yeah, but sure you could use 2 of those. I guess that is a card you could play, and then you could have that. That is definitely a thing that is in reason.
Yeah, if you're playing any kind of aggro death and Torith comes down though, you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Also, you have to play priest to play those cards. I mean, that just sounds terrible too.
I agree. So, Pylet, does this feel toxic to lose to if it's good?
The new cards, no. The old cards, yes. Not the new cards.
Sorry, yeah, I didn't answer the question correctly.
No, you're fine. Actually, the card that's most annoying is the stupid breaker if you're playing any kind of aggro deck. It is fine. It's just like when all you need is like 1 taunt behind the break and have that breaker just do 2 damage every turn or 4 damage every turn. You're like, well, what am I gonna do? What would you change in Dude Paladin to make it more fun or playable?
Don't play Dude Paladin.
All right, Pylet.
I don't think you need to change any of the cheap stuff. I'd be the weapon is super awkward, costing 5 on a battle cry. I wonder what would happen if it was, the effects between that and the legendary were swapped, to where you had, the weapon was a legendary that buffed, on swing or whatever instead of on battle cry, and then you had, a common or an epic or whatever of really a minion that doubles and gives taunts for the recruits instead of the legendary. I don't know if that'd be too good, but I think it'd be more interesting to play.
Yeah, a weapon that doubles the stats on swing. 2 swings.
Just something to move those around, because I just don't kind of like.
It does feel awkward.
Those cards.
Yeah.
If they have weapons like that, they could have just put into core, right? Like we've had weapons like that in the past. So I don't know. I think we just needed like one more card that was like a dude giant. Cost one less for each dude you've summoned this game.
Yeah. But I also feel like it's very fair to look at Convalescence and say, yep, that's just a good card. That's just in every Paladin deck for the next 2 years.
Yep. It's a 2-mana 2/2 Divine Shield split into two bodies. It's nuts.
And when I was playing a lot of Paladin, like I don't think we can make the joke that I'm a Paladin main anymore because I don't play any Paladin. But when it was playing it, it was what was a card that was Boogie Down and all those cards. Those were fun. The bouncing the Paladin, the Kangor and all that. Those were interesting mechanics that maybe they weren't so good, but that was a lot of fun for me. This is just kind of like, okay, yeah, it's lots of minions, great. And there's no real, I don't know. Anyway, I saved the best for last, or the most interesting for last, I think.
You did.
Mage. Warshack, is Mage fun to play as a predominant light show player in the history of Hearthstone?
Yep.
Pylet,
Very fun.
Is Mage fun to play?
Yes.
All right. Does it feel well designed?
They took the relic approach to it. Truly, it just feels like relics for Mage. I think could be good. Like, I like the design. It is fun. Obviously, the cards need change, but that has question as it comes. So I'd say sure.
Pylet?
Yes. I think so for most of them. I don't like the summon a minion nexus or leyline, not nexus. Nexus leyline is a different one. But I do like how on the 3-drop that they gave an extra, they gave the death rattle to, so that wasn't just 3 battle cries do the thing. You know, the 3-drop they gave death rattle, get a random ley line just to kind of throw something extra in there. I do like how they did that. I would have been interested. They kind of changed up some keywords on the other ones as well, to where they did at least something to where they weren't just all the exact same copy, just 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, and I think so too. I think these are all kind of well designed, maybe not perfectly designed, but the concept is well designed, and you can tell that because people wanted to play this right off. This is out of all the classes, this is what people really wanted to play, and that people were most disappointed in that didn't hit. I think so. I think both of those things are telling you, yeah, this is something that interests people and excited people. So, if they do fix this and they make this better, do you think it'd be toxic to lose to?
If they make it too good, yeah, probably. Because whenever you add double a card effect, or you give something a lot of spell power, things get really janky. So there is going to be a very fine line of which, like, this deck isn't good. Like it's going to be like the feather on the end, or the feather on the scale, or with the anvil, where like it's not really a meta deck, no one's really playing it, but it feels okay, to like, this is now like burn DPS mage, you're dead by turn 5. Because you're getting like, it's playing a 1 or 2 mana, hit 3 things, and all of the residual damage is going face.
Pylet?
Yeah, agreed. It's in a weird spot with these constantly changing things, to where it's kind of like when we talked about the Dragon Soul card earlier, to where 1 feels awful, 2 you can live with, 3 is fine, 4 is really good. And when you start getting 4 side by side, and they kind of have to balance it for somewhere in the middle there, and that's kind of what they have to do here, to where they have to make it to where, okay, how does it feel with 1 upgrade each? You know, and if they could kind of find that at an okay level, then you can deal with it when you're not there, and not overly salty when it's more than 1 up, past those upgrades.
I feel like it's gonna feel like losing to Rogue, which is you're always gonna be like salty on like when they generated what they needed to, like they generated the right minions and stuff like that, because it's like, but you don't remember the fact that they didn't generate it 5 other times. But it's always like you always remember it, because like you got to remember that with decks like this, that's the kind of the point of the deck, right? But it does feel bad when it's like, oh hey, look, they did the thing again. That obviously is always going to happen, but you forget the other times that it didn't happen.
Well, what feels bad about Rogue, and you know I'll lump priest in there too, is the cards they're playing are your cards. They're playing, you know, Deja Vu, Nightmare Fuel, you know, playing a Herald deck or an Imbue deck against a Herald Imbue rogue, and they're hitting double battle cry on your Herald cards. It's just like, what? Like, what happened the other day? They created my, I buffed Brox in my deck with my Sylvanas, and then they hit my buffed Brox, and then gave him Reborn or whatever, and they just played Brox for like, I don't know, on turn 3 or 4, and then played like 4 spells with prep, and had like they had a full board of animal companions and a reborn Brox, and it was just all my cards. All of them were mine. So that's why it was annoying. I don't think the random cards are annoying. I think them playing my cards are annoying.
Maybe. I mean, I lost to a double Grave Strength against me the other day, but I also had to generate, like, I the most tilted I've been probably this month, which is still early, but I lost to, I believe it was a rogue, a randomly generated Dracorax off of a Dark Gift that had Lifesteal. So not only did they clear my board, they renode.
Dark Gift is very good. I think Dark Gift's insane.
Yep. Pylet, did you already answer this?
Yes.
All right. So this is the question. This is the final question here. How does this need to change to be more playable?
I made it as a tweet. What did I tweet? I said the 7 mana card. I think the other cards are kind of fine. Like, I'm sure we'll get more mage cards and more spells and more freeze later in the year to develop that. So I think the cards, as it feels, they feel fine to play. It's the payoff card, the Arcana Macon or whatever.
Arcanium.
Yeah, where it's like 7 mana, get all the ley lines, choose one to upgrade. That either needs to be like, I don't know, 6 mana, or when you play this, it says, you know, you choose one to upgrade, and then it says the word play it. Because like you're essentially spending 7 mana to do nothing. Like you get some cards and you do some upgrades, but you're essentially not doing anything that turn. So I think it needs to play what you select. And at 7 mana, I think that's fair. But if it's not going to play it, it can go down to 6. And then I guess it feels a little bit better. But this huge payoff card, the legendary mage spell in the deck, and I never played it. I have 15 games I played one evening. I never got to play the card. So it just felt really, really weird.
Pylet?
I did play it, and I was very confused at first because as I said, I was playing the Syndragosa, the Fable package. I had that active on board, Syndragosa and Malagos, and I went to throw the cards because I'm like, all right, these are going to be cheaper. And then I had another trigger on it. I forgot that was also an arcane spell. I'm like, why did this pop up again? Yeah, I could see that. It's because when you're playing it, most of the time, like you're probably picking, you're wanting to pick something to kind of smooth out that turn for sure, because you're not getting any of them played right away. So I feel like every time I played it, I took the discount by 2. That way, then I could play the 4 costs typically right away, and you do the draw also. But if it was choose an upgrade for your ley lines, discover one to cast, get the other 2 in your hand. Something a more elegant Hearthstone
wording than that. Yeah.
But I could see that to where it's just like, get the upgrade, cast one of them for free, you get the other 2 to do whenever you want later. I could see that making that card much, much better. For now, cutting the 6 cost is probably the right play. The summon a random 6 cost one, because it's just bad. It's awful.
Oh, have it say discover.
Yes, even then I don't know if it gets any better.
Really?
Like, there's a lot of bad stuff in the pool. There's a lot of battle cries on very small minions once you get to 6 and above.
And it'll get worse as the year goes on.
And if you're discovering, unless I put discover from any class, or discover any, then if you're discovering, you're only getting mage and neutrals, and all the mage ones are small because they all have battle cry effects. Like, I don't want an 8 mana 6/6 Athena just on my board. So for now, I think it's cut it. The The others are okay, I think. Like the draw card is bonkers once you get it upgraded.
Yeah, you get
So
a 2 mana draw 3 discount by 2 or something. It feels pretty nice.
yeah, the draw card is insane. The damage is a little slow to ramp up. I could see that being bumped up by 1 on the base. That way it is dealing more face damage as you get late game as it's killing bigger stuff. But yeah, it's just the 6-drop is bad.
See, I think I would go in the opposite direction. I think I would make that card, the payoff card, more expensive. I would make it 8 to 10, but it would do an upgrade and then play all 3. Like do it like what's his butt? The what you talked about before, Artificer. Like have it be the real like boom. Here's my trump card. I hate saying that. Here's my card. Play it, boom, and it does the thing. It's like boom, it's explosion everywhere, magic, boom, ba ba ba, and maybe it pays off, maybe it doesn't. But I think that I don't think I think that'd be too strong at 8 or whatever it's at 7. So make it 8, 9, or 10, whatever feels right. But play all of them. Upgrade 1, play all of them. And I think that would be more fun.
Okay? Yeah. The problem with that also is the deal damage one is situational. Like, if it's automatically casting and they don't have a board, maybe you want to upgrade all of them and play the other 2, but you don't want to waste that damage because you're going to need it to finish the game. And if they don't have a board, then you can't play the legendary.
Well, yeah, but then you can still play it. It just doesn't do any damage to the. There would be a obviously takeaway there. I mean, there's other cards that did the same thing too, right? It's just it's like playing when you play Deathwing and they have no minions on board, and it's just like, oh, I guess I'm doing 4 damage to everything. It doesn't really matter. You get other effects from it. I think that it would be more fun to do the thing where it's like, hey, it is the payoff card that really pays it off.
So yeah, I wouldn't really mind either of those changes. I mean, just something that makes it different than it is now. Because right now it's not unplayable. It's just really, really difficult to play, and find the time to weave in.
It's relying on too many other things to work.
Yeah. All right. So, Shaq, final thoughts before we wrap the show up.
Hearthstone's honestly queuing and then hitting pretty much different classes every game right now feels pretty all right. Like I'm not hitting the same deck, 60-70% of the time. So the meta's actually felt pretty good. The decks have just been not super fun, but the meta's been okay, which is weird. This is like one of those weird times where it's just like all the decks that are existing right now, none of them are like, they're good decks, but none of them are like imbue druid level annoying or like popularity right now. It's just kind of just like we're at like a wake. We're in like a wake zone. We're just like floating around, kind of waiting on something. I don't know.
Pylet?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, I'm happy there has been some experimentation. I mean, Diamond to Legend and Legend Companion Hunter is the most popular deck on HS Guru, so people are at least trying it. We'll see if it lasts before no minion DH, which is 5% higher than everything else, takes over again. Maybe not 5%. It's up there.
And I have the same feeling as you, Shaq, but it's weird because I always hit like if I run into an egg warlock, I run into like two egg warlocks in a row or 3 out of 4. If I run into a spell DH, I run into 3 or 4. Same thing. It's like I'm seeing plenty of things, but I always see the same classes and groups. So my algorithm is trapped somewhere. They're always going to show the same thing. But so question of the week. I don't think we've had a chance to talk to you about this. What are your thoughts on the whole twist thing?
Oh, that was a huge missed opportunity. I mean, I don't know who was in charge of that or what was going on, but forever I was talking about a rotating format. Every month you just throw some expansions that came out, throw a couple mini sets or old adventures, and just have things that we didn't have at that time. And every month it changes. So if there's something super broken, who cares? Next month it's going to change anyway, right? And it was like they dropped the ball on it so hard. Like it wasn't a hard mode to upkeep at all. Like you needed to come up like in one afternoon over like 3 beers. You could come up with 3 years of months, like every month for 3 years, different rotations of mixing, matching expansions and mini sets that would be interesting. And it's just really sad. So, and then they tried to like monetize it really heavily at first with the whole like twist only like expansion thing that they did. I don't know if you remember that, but it was like they released some broken warlock location that just like thrived. Like it was so crazy. Like it was insane. So it was just like really weird. I just don't. I would just really love to hear who was in charge of it, their thoughts on like what they wanted to do and what happened and like what did they do? Like what do you do here? So it's very sad.
Yeah. So, if you would like to support the show, you can do so by joining our Patreon over at patreon.com/breadandbutterhs. You comes with benefits including access to the raw audio early, access to members only channels on our discords, helps shape future questions, and things like that. We have our patron. Want to give a shout out to our patron of the month, Torby Flenderson, and then we also have our answer to the question of the week from Grizzly Bear about Twist, saying it's a bit sad. Twist was another try to bring variety into the game. I like some of the attempts, especially the different hero decks. Didn't try too much, but I enjoyed it. Even bought a bigger bundle in the beginning of Twist. It's nice to have some distraction from standard. That they deleted now is already a bit late. It's a bit too much about monetization lately, not so much about fun and engagement. Current standard meta though is enjoyable. I think Twist had a lot of potential, but if you didn't put people in place to take care of it, it's just gone. So back to Wild for some of the fun old cards.
What a smart viewer. Well said.
Well, I especially agree because he's helping to fund our show. So,
if you would like to help support us in a non-financial way, you can let people know about the show and leave us a review, as well as look for Bread and Butter HS on YouTube, where we post the VODs of the show after we are done recording as well. Tito, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, plenty of other places at titosantanahs. Where especially on the YouTube, where I've been making lots of content. We got lots more stuff coming up. Someday I might even get to the volume that Warshack does, but I very much doubt it.
Warshack.
Hello.
Where can people find you on the social medias?
I should be on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram are the main ones that I use. I did not get on the TikTok train fast enough, so that's not. We're still working it, but the other four definitely, and it's just at Warshack.
And you can find me at Pylet712. That's Pylet on Twitter and Blue Sky, as well as in the Bread and Butter Discord and a few other Hearthstone related Discords. Warshack, any shout outs or promotions that you have this week?
Shout outs and promotions. Shout out to you guys for having me. It's always a good time. I enjoy talking about Hearthstone, especially to two great players who also like Hearthstone as much as me. So it's honestly always a relief, and it's always I truly do enjoy it. Shout out to the giant fish I caught today. Hopefully he's still, I really did handle him with care, remove the hook with care, and then I respectfully put him back in the water as he frolicked away. So shout out to the fish for getting caught today and making me feel good. So
Tito, any shout outs?
Programming update, and this is not anything official, but you will be able, we might have some nights coming up in the next few weeks or next couple months where we may not be recording on Sundays. We're trying to accommodate some other guests and some topics, so we might have to just shift because we are here every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find us on our either YouTube or our Twitch, but for some other guests, that might not work for them. They might have jobs, they might have other things, they might have, I don't know, dress rehearsals for some performances or whatnot. So we might have some nights where we're not going to record right on the same night, which means that they may not come on. I know people like to have their podcasts. It's Tuesday. Here comes Bread and Butter. It's on my podcast feed. Let's go. So apologies in advance if that doesn't happen. We're also going to have, at least so far, our first bonus episode, which will not be Hearthstone related. So I will make sure that we put that on the same week that we also have another Hearthstone related podcast. I know some people there, but I think you're really going to be interested in this one when it comes out. and I'm very excited to be recording that one. I also want one more shout out to the Jiminator. You know, he's been on the show before, and he's a great Hearthstone streamer. He always usually has the green screen, the tuxedo, and stuff like that. But he dropped it last night, or yesterday for the first time.
He's in insane shape. He's hot.
Dude. Yes, dude dropped like 115 pounds or something like that, and I saw him yesterday. So honestly, I saw his stream. I popped up. He's like first non-green screen stream in 5 years, and I'm like, dude, why the hell do you have a green screen going on when you're that jacked? Good for him. He worked hard, and I'm proud of him. And I am hoping to interview him. I'm looking to revive for anyone that might remember the watch this stuff that I had been doing back in the day before I started doing any of this stuff, where we interview some streamers and stuff like that. So hopefully it'll be different than Bread and Butter. It'll be more kind of personal and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to do that. And Jiminator is possibly going to be our first guest. So we'll let you know how that goes. But congratulations, Jiminator, to hard work. That stuff doesn't just happen. Anyone that knows that you lose 15 pounds and then you blink and it's back on because you had you smelled a Reese's peanut butter cup, and all of a sudden the weight just drops back on. So congratulations to him. Well done. Pylet, anything to promote or shout out this week?
I think just shout out to my family for helping pick out some of the stuff that I couldn't do this week, because I was one-armed with just chores around the house and driving me places when I wasn't quite comfortable driving one-handed quite yet, because my left arm still wasn't in very good shape either. And then also to all the teachers out there, we just finished up Teacher Appreciation Week. We had some awesome stuff done at our district, and it's especially this time of year, it becomes very tiring and kind of dragging through the last part, and hope that all y'all know that what you do is seen and appreciated. But with that, I think that wraps it up this week. We're toast. See ya
later.
Bye. This is the first time, Mr. Shack, that I did not call you the Robert Warshack. I thought about throwing it at the end there, but I said, we can. Sometimes you got to let it
slide for a little bit.
Let it slide for a little while, then we'll bring it back.
Oh, it's all good either way. It's funny.
So you missed it. You weren't there. You don't really catch many Shaq streams, I think, because he streams at a time when you're working. I don't catch many either, but occasionally, once in a while, I get a bunch of them. And he had one guy in his chat was like, "How is this even off meta?" So now anytime. Yeah, he went off the deep end. So every once in a while, I'll see him post a deck now. I'll be like, how is this even off meta?
Yeah, what is this? This is the most meta shit I've ever seen in my life. Rob, what the fuck are you posting? Dude, I was so tired. It was like 8 hours in the stream, and he's like, how is this deck even off meta? It's like, homie, look at the fucking deck. Fucking idiot. I hate you. I shouldn't have said that, but holy shit, I was so tired. It's really the YouTube comments, man. Twitch is like kind of smart, which is crazy to say in comparison of the YouTube commenters or YouTube viewers. YouTube viewers are some of the dumbest fucking people.
Well, with YouTube, they're watching and they're scrolling through and whatever like that. With Twitch, you are actively deciding that I'm going to sit here and watch this person do this thing. So it's kind of like a different time investment.
Yeah, but they treat it like it's a video. They talk like it's a comment section, not a chat. It's the weirdest thing, YouTube.
Oh, you mean when you're live on the YouTube?
Yeah. When I'm live on YouTube and then like I get the live YouTube chat, they talk as if it's like a comment section of like a video and not a live stream.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah, no, seriously, they definitely got it going on. They have it ingrained.
You lost the one guy that used to comment on all your videos. Or all decks you posted?
Yeah. The guy that on Hearthstone, he would downvote and comment on every deck I posted and just be like, this deck's bad. This guy sucks. This deck's terrible. I lost every game. I love that guy. I'll have to find him again. I'll reach out to him. He truly gave me inspiration each and every day, knowing his hatred flowed that hard. Like, truly knowing that someone hated me that much made me feel good. It gave me, I was so excited to read his comment every day because he was there within 5 minutes. Like, every day, he was just ready. Guns are loaded.
Turns out it was your ex-girlfriend Susie from high school. You still never got over it.
Oh my god. Plot twist. All right, I gotta go eat dinner now.
Well, thank you, Shaq. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Yes.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Thank you, thank
Always a
you.
Good time.
Of course, of course.
right.
All right. Have a good evening, fellas. Let the podcast editing flow.
Yep, and I will get you the link when I have it.
Yeah. No big deal. Just let me know, and I'll make sure to accept it so you get the extra reach, of course.
And obviously, feel free when you're streaming to say, "Hey, I was on this podcast." Go see it because your viewers are pretty smart, except for the ones that aren't.
Except for the YouTube ones. Yeah, just remind me on when next time I do my stream and it's up, just be like, hey, the bread and butter episode's up, and I'll do the gig, the thing.
All right, cool.
All right.
And
have a good night. Later.
You as well. And everybody
See ya.
in chat, thank you for hanging out. I will be back streaming probably tomorrow night. And I think we were going to do Monday next week, but I think we've decided to push that off, that particular episode off for a few weeks until everyone can be there. So
starting at 12:30 our time did not seem like the plan.
Yeah, no. Pylet, we're going to do the normal thing.
I could do a duos. I probably shouldn't, but I can.
Actually, should I just keep the stream up this time and do it here for once?
If
No, that I don't know if I know I can't because I don't have it set up on OBS, so that'd be a pain in the ass. That wouldn't work.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, you guys have a great night. Back tomorrow night, and we'll be playing probably some Blood Unholy because I like it. All right. Bye.
Bye.